How's everyone doing?
Hi, so this is our first live on YouTube.
Here we are, the Hannistons on YouTube.
we are here live from Costa Rica.
From Costa Rica to the Americans, if any in here.
Oh, so feel free to drop a comment. Hopefully we'll see them. This is our first time, so...
Yeah, I'm not even sure how the comments work or anything. So...
I'm not really sure. Let's have a little look, so...
Live chat, there we go.
All messages. Okay, cool, that's fine.
I think you have to actually click that and then click live chat.
Oh
there
yeah,
you go,
I think that'd be fine.
So
yeah.
if everyone wants to just put a chat, pop a comment and let us know you're here, and then we can...
We'll get going in a sec anyway,
Yeah.
but thank you to the people that have been waiting to come in. We got all of the questions together. Hi Jodie,
Hi, Jodie.
hi
How you
Rhiannon,
doing?
how
Hi,
are
Rhiannon.
you? Hi Jodie, hi Megan.
Maurice,
Hi
how you
Maurice,
doing?
hi. Oh, so good
Hi,
to see
Rosie.
you guys. Thank you for coming
Shireen,
in.
blimey, guys, you're all here. Amelia, how you doing?
Hi.
Ashton,
Hi
what's going on?
Ashton, you're right. Oh, hi Gemma. Well, wait a minute. Hey
Guys,
guys.
what's up? Evie, how you doing?
Hey. Yeah, we'll wait for a few more people to come in, and then we'll get cracking with these questions.
So let everyone know we're live if they don't know. Just share it out right now. Tell everyone we're here. And
yeah, we're good, thank you. We are good. Liam, we're coming live from Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, baby.
So we've got together all the questions that people asked us on Instagram. Excuse me. And we've kind of compiled them together because people ask like the same sort of questions. So we thought, right, we'll put them together and then we can just go through them.
Hi, Jade. How you doing?
Hiya. And yeah, like we'll just answer the questions that everybody's been asking. So I think we'll get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So the first question we got asked the most, oh, thank you, Rhiannon. The first question we got asked the most was, why Costa Rica?
So, I mean, I'll give you a little bit of information. So, 7% of the world's biodiversity is in Costa Rica. So, the wildlife and the protected parks. We actually live in a national park.
Yeah.
It has a wet season and a dry season. But
It's
hot.
not cold.
That's right, yeah, it's hot all year round. I mean, today there's been a little bit of rain even while we're here
Like,
now.
as you can see, I'll just quickly show you, like, it's a little bit cloudy today, but it is still really warm.
Yeah, so with that being said, it just means that we don't experience winter over here.
Yeah.
There are no seasonal clock changes or anything. At 5:30 the sun drops and at 5:30 the sun comes up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty clear cut and your days are very hot. You're also surrounded, I don't know if you can hear in the background, guys.
All the wildlife.
You are
and the
surrounded
birds.
by wildlife.
You know, and it's like that all day. And, you know, from what we'd seen online and stuff, we were just like, okay, that sounds like a bit of us, you know, like we wanted to leave the UK and things like that. And we was like, okay, where are we going to go that is going to fit with the kind of lifestyle that we want? We wanted a very chilled life. We're not really too bothered about going out partying and stuff like that.
You can do that here. I mean, there's a lifestyle here if you want it. You can come and live like a king. You can live like a local.
But yeah, for us, it just kind of
Yeah, we just wanted to get away from the hustle bustle, the rat race, call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
And another leading off of that, another big one we got asked was, did we consider anywhere else? So Costa Rica was always kind of, so it's a butterfly flying
Beautiful
around.
butterfly.
Costa Rica was always somewhere that we wanted to try. If anyone's ever heard of something called ayahuasca, you know, I'll let you guys look into
If
that.
you're on a spiritual level, then
Yeah, so that was always something that was always on the cards for us possibly. But originally we just found out about the digital nomad visa, which we'll go into in a minute. And we originally, I think we just found Bali and it came up and we was like, okay, you know, it's beautiful and stuff like that. But wasn't really sure whether we wanted to go there. I didn't really, you know.
There was still a lot of politics and bureaucracy
Yeah.
and stuff that we wanted to kind of
move away from.
Yeah, you know, we've experienced a lifetime of that, like a lot of you.
So
and, yeah.
we started looking at that, and then that was when I saw the digital nomad visa, and I saw that there were like 43 countries or something that it was in, and I was looking down the list, and each country has got their own requirements, and Costa Rica was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like.
I mean, we hadn't actually heard much about Costa Rica.
Yeah, and
we saw it.
But we both speak Spanish, so...
Yeah. Hablo español y aprendo español también.
So I suppose that was kind of half the battle was kind of won if you can speak the language.
Yeah, it really does help.
So yeah, and that was a big reason why we kind of picked here, and it's like a Spanish speaking country, and we're very familiar with the culture because we've both lived in Spanish speaking countries before.
Yeah. I lived in Tenerife for 4 years as a child.
Yeah.
I went to a private school, but it was basically a public Spanish speaking school.
And we'll go more into the schools as well in a minute. So.
Oh, thanks, Sebastian.
Thank you so much. But yeah, so that's kind of why we picked it, and it just really aligned with what we wanted out of life. And they have something over here called Pura Vida, like pure life, and boy is it.
They say it all the time. You can see anyone from the locals to construction, like the construction workers, people in the shops. It doesn't matter. And every day it's like Pura Vida. You know?
And it's so nice, you know. So that was a big reason why we came. So I suppose from there we'll move into like how much it cost and what the process was. So for us, when we first decided that we wanted to do it,
which was over 5 months ago.
5 months. So we decided at the very, very beginning of July that we wanted to come to Costa Rica. And it took us about 5.5 months. But it probably could have been a lot quicker. But because we don't have a car, we wanted to wait until the rainy season was kind of coming to an end. Hence why we came at the end of November.
Yeah, not having a car in the rainy season would be a bit disastrous.
Probably a bit more tricky.
Yeah.
So that was the reason why it took so long. We could have done it a lot quicker. But in terms of cost, the most expensive part for us, obviously, was the flights.
Yeah.
So the flights cost us around £4,500 for all of us. And then obviously you have the cost of your visa, depending on what you're going to do here. If you're coming as a tourist for 90 days, you don't need to do the visa that we're doing.
You can actually, as a tourist, you can come over here for 90 days. And then because you're bordering with Panama and Nicaragua, they have something called border runs out here.
But we're going to go into that in a minute with the visas. But yeah, so with all in all, with our deposit for our rental, the flights and the visa and all the little bits around it.
First month's rent up front.
Yeah, it cost us around £9,000.
That's
it. And like I said, the majority of it was actually just getting the flight out here. So it isn't ridiculous. You know, obviously there's different ways of doing it, and I suppose from there we'll just talk about the visas.
Yeah, so the visa system out here, there's a few different types of visas. I'll tell you the ones I know. If I miss anything, Jen will let you know.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the digital nomad visa.
Well, should we start with the tourist visa?
Start with the tourist visa. That's the most basic.
It's the most common.
It's the most basic. So what will happen is you will come out here for 90 days, and in that 90 days, you have the option after to do something called a border run. What that means is between Nicaragua and Panama, you can book it in. It's all done professionally.
And they take
don't worry, you haven't got to go on your backpacks and spend 7 days in the wilderness.
No.
So it's all booked in. You go across. You spend a couple of days in whichever country it is you go over to. What they don't like, especially in Panama currently, they don't like people just going over,
coming in, stamping and leaving.
You know, it's like taking the piss. They're just getting their passport stamped, and you get another 90 days in Costa Rica.
But there's one thing, when you do enter Costa Rica, you have to have an onward ticket. So if you're planning to stay for the 90 days, then or whatever, then you need to have a ticket that's leaving, say, a week before the 90 days is up, because they can either stamp you for like 10 days, 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days.
They will ask you for your onward ticket documentation when you arrive.
And you will need to show it.
And they'll check the date of that onward ticket, and then they determine how many days to give you.
And you will need to provide an address of where you're staying for the whole time that you're here. But you can just give like your hotel, there's a lot of like short-term rentals, so like Airbnbs, things like that. So you need to give all of that information over. Once you've done that, you can come in for 90 days. You cannot work. So you cannot just come over here and get a job in a bar or, hope that you're going to do something.
You can't physically work.
I think they like to keep, if a local can do it, they want to keep the work for the locals.
Which is a good thing.
So, my advice would be either have some money saved up or, like we do, earn your money online, and which leads on to the digital nomad visa, really.
Just also on the tourist side of things, always make sure you have actually got your passports and stuff on you. It's something we haven't encountered a problem, but others have. We didn't realise you should always have your passport because it's actually a legal requirement.
Yeah, because obviously if the police pull you over or whatever, they're doing a check and you don't have proof that you're allowed to be in the country, then they can detain you. So have your passport on you, or if you're at the beach and you don't want to take your passport, at least have a picture of your passport page and the stamp in your passport, at least, so that's that. So moving on to the digital nomad visa. So The digital nomad visa is for people who work solely online, earn all their money online, so therefore you just need like an internet connection to do your work.
And you have either a family version or you have a solo version.
Yeah.
So with the solo version of a digital nomad visa, you have to...
This is in Costa Rica, by the way, so each country, it varies in their requirements.
But here you must provide the following documentation. You have to provide bank statements showing that as a solo, I think it's
$3,000 a month as a solo person.
For the last 12 months.
Yeah,
so it used to be 2 years.
You can show that through your bank statements or pay slips. It's normally a bank statement.
Yeah, so you show your bank statements. The other part of it is you must have up front, not the whole year paid for, but you have to have medical insurance up to £50,000.
No, a minimum of
minimum
cover of $50,000 each.
That's it.
Per applicant. So you can't just have like one for $50,000.
Which
each
I believe
person has to have
is around, it ranges, but I think it's around $30 to $40 a month.
Yeah, you know, it's manageable. And it's advisable to have some kind of insurance anyway, because, you know, if you fall over and trip and you know, God forbid, you break your arm or something like that, you want some kind of cover just in case something happens, you know, so you need that. If you are traveling with your spouse and your family, you would need your marriage certificate, and it has to be less than 6 months old. So get a new one printed before you leave and bring that with you, and all the birth certificates. But the birth certificates don't need to be less than 6 months old. It's just the marriage certificate.
And that, as crazy as it might sound, that really is as simple as it is for a digital nomad visa.
And you apply, and then it basically, you get a lawyer. They translate everything into Spanish. They basically certify it to say that it's a legit document from your bank, and then they take care of that. And it's around $800 for the main applicant,
which is yourself,
which is me, and then $200 per applicant after. And the really lovely thing that I liked about here is, if you say you were living in England and you had your elderly mum living with you, or you have grown-up children living with you, you can bring them with you on your visa. So if you just have to prove that they live with you. So you could, if you have your mum living with you, they can come as well.
And that includes their finances, and that includes the help that it comes with it.
Yeah, so, you know, and like, I think like children, I think you can have your child come with you up to the age of 25.
Which is brilliant.
So that's really good.
And also another brilliant thing about Costa Rica in recent times as well, they've wiped out, what was the name for it? So you don't have to go and get counter-proof signatures done at the local town hall.
Oh, it doesn't have to be apostilled.
There you go.
So it does if you want to do the other visas. So we can kind of come on to those. Like, that kind of wraps up the digital nomad visa. Like,
quite simple, really.
We're going through the process of ours now. So once we've sorted it all out, we'll do another video basically saying it took this long, it was this much, blah blah blah. Exactly, you know. So
and then one more point on the visa. Once you do get your visa, you'll only probably get like a temporary "you have got it." But trust me, until you have that piece of paper in your hand,
you are a tourist.
You are still a tourist.
Oh, sorry. So. Most important thing of why we're doing the digital nomad visa is because it lasts for a year. So you don't have to leave every 90 days. Yeah. So for us, we will apply. It means we can stay for the whole year. Yeah. And then if you spend 180 days in Costa Rica in that year, it doesn't have to be consecutively, but you have to have 180 days. So it's like 6 months. You can then renew it for another year, but you then have to prove again that you've earned that money for the last year as well.
Which for a solo is the $3,000 a month, and then as a family, it's the $4,000 a month. Yeah. So there you go. So it's quite simple.
So that's the
digital. How you doing, Caitlin? I saw your comment. How you doing? You all right?
So then there are two. There's probably, I think there's another couple, but there are two other ones that we know about, which are more kind of permanent-y kind of ones. You know, like, so there's the rentista, which is 2 years. You have to deposit $60,000 into a Costa Rican bank account, and then
about 47,000 in English,
something like that, which is upfront, and you deposit it into the bank. They then basically say you can stay for 2 years, and I believe that money gets given back to you every month. So basically, you're like renting to be.
You're basically guaranteeing you have 2 years worth of rent, and the government will give it to you to make sure that you're not here. And you've got
enough money to be here for the 2 years.
And it's quite a decent way to get a 2-year
And you can also,
visa.
Quickly going back to the nomad visa, you can also do that with the digital nomad visa. If you can have, say you don't have a year's worth of statements that show you earn that much. If you've earned the equivalent of $4,000 or $3,000 a month, and you have that in a lump sum, you can also use that to do the digital nomad visa as well. So
the other one is called the investor visa. Now this one's for those, if you're at home and you own your own home,
Yeah.
or you
For
you
people
have,
maybe that might want to
you know,
sell their home and move out here.
or you have a
and
bit
buy
more
that.
money and you can invest your money here. Believe it or not, for the pretty sum of $150,000, which used to be.
It used to be 200,000, and they've recently, I think it's in the last year, or last 6 months even, they've dropped it to 150,000. So if you invest $150,000 into the country, and that includes businesses, cars, and property.
So that can include land and a house, or a house.
You could buy a 30 grand car and 120 grand on property, and that would qualify.
And not only that, it also, I believe, fast paces the residencia.
So that's how you would then gain your permanent residency, I believe.
Yeah. So the world's your oyster.
That means you can like work out here and things like that, you know? So if you don't have permanent residency, you can invest into a business and you could own a business, but you can't physically work in that business.
You can have the local
but
Ticos.
You can hire people to work for you.
And they can work for you. So
so
overall, Costa Rica has made it very, very simple.
Yeah.
And very approachable, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
To come over here.
Hi, Holly. How are you?
They've made it quite simple, and as we've just explained to you, it really is as simple as that.
Yeah. So that's that. So let's move on. So how are we settling in?
Wow, I mean, we told you we'd never romanticise anything, right? So we'll only ever tell you, if something goes bad, we're going to tell you how it goes bad. But,
I mean, nothing's gone terrible, so just rest assured, nothing's gone really bad.
Yeah, I also think, before we answer any more of the questions, just to let you guys know as well, because some people will come in the room based on TikTok or Instagram, and you might look at us and think, yeah, I know, but it's so out of reach. Well, let us just tell you guys, like, we don't even have like 10 grand in the bank, all right? When we say we are a normal family with a normal kind of budget, coming from the UK, like we really are.
Yeah.
And 5 months ago we had the idea, now we're here. So we are doing this on a normal kind of salary, even based on all of our streams of money that we get in online. We're having to save. We're having to do all the things
just
that you
like
would do at home.
everybody else, you know. So, like we're walking around at the minute. We don't have a car.
We've got to save
but we just wanted to be here. We wanted to, rather than try and save up in England and come. We was like, no, let's just bite the bullet. And we'd never been here before, guys. Never. We'd never been to Costa Rica. We just took the plunge, and we thought, do we want to go on a holiday? We probably would have spent 9 grand on a holiday.
We worked it out, and it would have worked out
for like 2-3 weeks. And we were like, we know what's going to happen. We're going to get out there. We're not going to want to leave. We're not going to want to come back to England. So we just decided to take the plunge, you know. But we are settling in really well. The kids are settling in really well. So we'll move on to the kids. There was a lot of questions about the kids, about how they've settled and stuff. And to be fair, they've settled in really well. The only thing, like our daughter was saying, was like, obviously she misses her friends, but she said it's more the fact that she can't just ring her friend and go, do you fancy coming round?
Should we go for a Costa? Should we this? Or, and we can't be the taxis that we were in England, you know?
Yeah, so that sort of side of things, you know, but we are taking them out. We will meet people. These things take time.
Well, there's lots of groups on Facebook where you can meet other families, you can meet other travellers.
Facebook's where it's at.
We've already had lots of families that are coming over in January, and our kids will then be able to socialise with kids.
And we've got kids similar ages. There's lots of people in the same boat, going through the same thing, and you know, so there's a lot of similarities there. Whether you're similar people or not, you're all going through the same sort of thing right now. You know, so you have that in common. But it's so far. I mean, for me, I think it's one amazing thing for me with the kids is since they've been here, they've socialised so much with each other.
Oh, their interactions have been unbelievable.
It's been phenomenal. Like, our son is a heavy gamer. In the UK, he barely left his room. He was just, you know, gaming, school, gaming. That was it, you know.
He now spends hours in the pool. He's been teaching Marnie, our youngster, a 4-year-old, how to swim. You know, he
comes out. We have loads of conversations with him. We all sit down for dinner. You know, it's just... It's been really nice, you know, and that wouldn't necessarily have happened just in England, because he was like, no, I'm just going to sit here and game.
And as parents, you know, that's the most special thing, is that our kids, when there's smiles on their faces when they see the wildlife, and they're integrating together.
And
which,
like,
you know,
Marnie, you know, everything is new to her. Like, in the sense of the older two, you know, they've been on holidays before and things like that, and you know, they kind of know about the ocean, they know about the beach, like, and all this stuff. But Marnie, she's literally seeing this for the first time with like fresh eyes, like complete fresh eyes, and
walking
she
through the jungle
absolutely loves it. She absolutely loves it. The other day we went to a river, and I was like, you can go in the river, it'll be fun. And I think you might have seen on our vlog, if you haven't already watched it, go and watch our last vlog. And she was like, "Oh, this is really fun, Mum. You were right. This is really fun."
Yeah. Hi,
you
Gemma.
know?
How you doing?
Hiya. And she's just walking out in a river. But it's just
Yeah.
it's the environment, it's the frequency, it's the vibration that this place has. It's just so surreal.
The education of life.
Yeah, exactly. So our kids are settling in really well.
Yeah.
I'm sure my daughter probably really misses things like Primark and New Look and things like that. But it's also way too hot to be wearing anything like that anyway.
They also know that the sacrifices we're making by not having a car every day, and we're having to do a lot of the walking, which is great. We love it, right? Those little sacrifices that we make, trust me, in the long run, when we save the money for a car, these guys are going to we will become taxis again.
100%.
So if anything, we get a break.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. But
what was it like telling the kids and family, and how did they take it?
So when we first kind of approached the idea with the kids, our son was the most reluctant, I would say, but that's because he had a girlfriend, or has a girlfriend still,
For the last year.
last year. He's 17. He's a little bit older, but he knew the reasons why we wanted to come, and he understood why we wanted them to have a different experience in life that's just out of the box, out of the norm, and he kind of saw it in a way of like, I'm 18 next year. If I really did want to come back, it's only a year. So he was kind of okay, obviously, and him and his girlfriend are kind of sorting things out. So she's going to come visit and stuff like that. Charlie, she couldn't wait to get out. She would have been really, really angry if we hadn't have left.
And also, just quickly with those two, I met Charlie and Dom when they were 5 and 7 years old.
Yeah.
So Charlie still sees her biological dad all the time.
So I had to have that conversation with him as well.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the more difficult conversations, not because he was difficult, but because I was really worried to bring it up to him because I didn't know how he was going to take it, thanks, Lauren. And he actually took it really well. Charlie's 14 now, and he just said, wow, what an experience she's going to have. She's going to learn a whole new language, and she's going to see a whole different side of life that he may not have been able to show her.
It's still going to be hard for him, he's a father, and he's a great father, so
he is a great father.
Of course it's going to hurt, but you know what, he's coming out here as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And he's going to have an amazing time when he comes out here.
And like we said, Charlie really wanted to come, and he was never going to just say no just for his own reasons. Do you know what I mean? So I was really grateful to him for that, because obviously that could have made it a lot more tricky.
Oh, we've got a bird in the background, look.
Oh yeah.
Just thought we'd show you that bird in the background, guys, look.
I don't know if you can see
I
it.
don't know if you can see it.
Oh, there he is.
Bright yellow. Every morning pops into the garden for some bugs. So,
and Marnie, Marnie just went with the flow.
Marnie's just Marnie,
she's young. She doesn't know any better. She's just going to grow up here.
On my side of things, I mean, my dad. I mean, look, I'm 37. I'm a father myself, and I think a lot of people from my family sort of saw it as, you know what, you're doing something that I wish I'd done.
That's what my mum said. She was like, you're doing what I wish I'd always done. And she was really supportive, and she was like, of course I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you a lot. She was like, but I want you to go, and I want you to experience that. And, she was really supportive. And she's actually going to come out for like 2 months next year. So she's well looking forward to it.
Just trying to get the bird to land on my shoulder. What are the chances on a live that happens?
And with the rest of our families, like we don't have a massive family. And that was another big factor, guys. When we decided to move away, we're not really close with loads of members of our family. Like, we don't have we don't have the kind of infrastructure, niceties that a lot of people have, so we only have a select few, and we were very much on our own in England anyway, so it doesn't really make much difference to us. We actually probably talk to them more now we're here because we're FaceTiming.
And I lost my mum a couple of years ago, so for me,
she would have wanted us to do this.
Yeah, she would have.
We would have brought her with us if she was still here.
Like you said, we're just as normal as some of you guys out there. Like, we're just a normal family going through the same sort of things in life that you have, and we decided to make a change, and then we're here.
Exactly. And leading on from the kids, another thing that gets brought up a lot is the schools. So schools out here, there's some really, really good education out here. I'm not exactly sure on the exact cost, but for not that much, not like England for private schools, you can send your kid to an international school for probably a few $100s a month,
which is unbelievable, really. And then you've got your Montessori schools, so you've got a lot of schools that are based around nature and the outside. You've then got alternative schools which
There's a lot of
there's
options.
religious schools. You've got so many different varieties of education out here. And to be quite honest with us, we're going to be doing a lot of homeschooling.
Yeah, we'd already planned on homeschooling Marnie in the UK anyway, so it was always on our agenda to homeschool.
And at 4 years old, being able to count to like 15 in Spanish already and say, hello, my name is Marnie, and she's already kind of getting to that point where as a sponge, she'll become bilingual.
I was reading her a book before bed last night, and I asked her a question, and it was like a yes or no question, and she went, sí. And I was like, you just answered me in Spanish, and it was just really cool, you know. I was like, oh my god, she's getting it. She's not just learning the words, she's now understanding that means that, and that's how I answer, you know.
When we say goodnight, she'll say te amo.
Yeah, you
Buenas
know.
noches, like, I love you.
And
good
we've
night.
only been here a few weeks, so she's definitely going to pick it up real quick. And that for us, she's learning so much already, and just being around all the wildlife and everything else, you know, it's mad. Like, she's going to just see and take in so much, you know. So we were always going to do that anyway. My mum is a teacher, so we have access to a good tutor.
Charlie's already begun doing her GCSE work online.
So that's what I was going to come to. Yeah, Charlie's doing her, she's going to complete her GCSEs online. Just because, more than anything, guys, she just wants something to do, like to keep her. Thank you. To keep her brain ticking over. But then if she wants to, she will come back to the UK and actually sit her GCSEs, because so far I haven't found a test centre here.
Probably won't
but there are other options for like the international diplomas and things like that. But to be honest with you, I haven't had a look into it too much, but I will, and we'll make a whole other video.
However, the whole thing on that, just remember, I never got any GCSEs. I didn't get anything.
Like we are two sides of the coin. You know, I did all right at school, got 10 GCSEs, went to college, got my diploma, got a degree. He got nothing, and we're still sitting in the same place doing the same job.
And I've done every single job that you guys could possibly imagine. I mean it, whether it's days, nights, whatever. And because of that, it's about life experience.
Yeah.
It's not about the experience you got in the four walls at school, college, or university.
There's only so much they can teach you.
Yeah, and that's just our opinion. That doesn't mean what we're saying is right. But as a normal family, we've got to keep saying this. As a normal family, we did it.
Yeah.
So we did it.
You know, we're not multi-millionaires here, guys.
No, man. No. So always remember that. So when you're sitting there thinking, well, it's all right for them because they've got 1 million followers and a blue tick. Let me tell you something. We're the same people with zero followers.
Lauren, exactly.
Yeah. And the blue tick, you know, we might get a few extra brand deals here and there, but it doesn't change anything.
Exactly. So moving on to the next one.
Could we bring pets?
So you can bring pets. We obviously, as you know, we had 2 cats. They actually went to live with my mum. So
only because one of them would never have survived.
She would never have survived the journey. She didn't even like being taken in the car.
Put her in the car, she's like,
so
the other one's like, jeez.
She was chill. One of them was chill. The other one, she was fine. But Doja would never have had it. She probably wouldn't have made the journey. And I was never going to put them through that. And not to mention, it's hot. They were British short hairs. They're fluffy.
Yeah.
You know, they would have probably suffered in this heat. They didn't even like the summer in England. So
but you can bring pets over it. It just means, I guess, you have to go by the normal custom rules.
I think, you have to make sure they have all their vaccinations, their passports. Again, it's something we can look into. If you want us to find something out like that, drop us a comment in the chat and we can look into it and we can make a whole other video on it. But yeah, so that's kind of that about pets, really.
Hello to everyone who's coming that's new, by the way. So sorry, we're not. Yeah, if you do come in and you haven't dropped a comment, drop a comment and say hello. And then, honestly, we'll shout you out.
We're just reeling out the questions.
We're not going to forget you. One of us is talking, one of us will say hello at the same time. Don't worry.
But yeah, thank you guys for coming in. So next question: what will we miss most about the UK?
So for me, I'm going to be honest straight up. I'm not going to miss anything in the UK apart from some of the people that were in it.
No worries, Archie. We will get on to that.
Some of the people that were in the UK, not the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, I fell out of love with England, but then I never really loved being there anyway. I lived in Spain when I was like 15 and 16, and I loved it. I was free, I was doing my own thing, and I'm a little bit of a hippie at heart.
Totally.
You know, so for me, I always felt really constrained there, and you know, it made me feel a certain way. Hiya, and it always made me feel a bit a certain way, and we all know, you know, stuff that's gone on and stuff. So for me, I think the thing I'll miss the most, is the people rather than the place, and probably just a good roast dinner and some English bread
or English beans. Buenos días, amigos. Es Chris. ¿Cuándo ocupa ayuda con carro? Mi avisa tengo un amigo en trabaja. Ah, okay. So, yeah, basically, Chris is saying he can help us out when we want to buy a car. He knows someone who works
Thank you.
in car sales.
Oh, thank you
Chris,
so much, Chris.
Yeah, it's so good hablo español. So, yeah, thank you, Chris, for that. Thank you.
So, yeah, that's kind of like our thing on the UK.
We'll need that, Chris, actually, when the time comes.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah.
Would we have moved if we'd have had a mortgage?
Oh.
So obviously we've never been in that position. Yeah. We've never had a mortgage. We've never owned a house.
We never could have got one. We never could have got one. You know how hard it is right now to get one.
Yeah.
But if we had had a mortgage,
we would have sold and made it happen.
We would have been gone.
It wouldn't have changed our decision. Yeah. I think it would have just, it probably would have been a little bit longer, a little bit more complicated maybe, because obviously you've got the process of selling house and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But for us, that just wasn't on our in our reality. So
thank you, Holly.
Thank you so much, Holly.
So this one's quite a good one. I can so this one here. How did you find a relocation agency, to sort out the move? Right, so guys, this is actually really important for us, and it'll be important for a lot of you as well. When you relocate abroad, if you haven't been to that country, how amazing would it be if you have someone on the other side who is very, very reputable, recommended heavily,
especially if you haven't been there before.
Yeah, to cross all your T's and dot all your I's. We had the lovely Sarah Alina. So that's Sarah.
We'll tag her in the video after the video. So
I'll spell it now on the live if anyone wants to have a look. But it's Sarah Elena, and you just type in Sarah Elena Costa Rica.
It's La Sarah Elena. She's on YouTube. She has loads of really good information about Costa Rica. We actually found her because we were watching her videos when we were looking at videos of Costa Rica.
Yep.
Realised that she has a whole relocation program.
A full program with lots of modules.
They also have stuff, they do like trips. So if you wanted to come out and experience Costa Rica first, they do all of that as well.
Our advice on the scouting trips, it's up to you, everyone's different, but our advice for the cost of coming over here on a flight, we just say get it done.
I think if you're coming from the UK, maybe, if you're in America or something, it may be a bit easier because it may be a bit cheaper, but obviously from the UK it's quite far. Yeah. But you know, it depends, that's complete personal preference. If you're somebody that wants to try before you buy, then I get it, you know.
So we dropped Sarah a message.
Yeah.
We then went through a pre-stage kind of meeting just to go through what we expected or what we were looking for, and then she has an entire roadmap. Everyone's roadmap would be different, and that's based on where you want to be, what kind of weather is it you're looking for. You know, you can live in the mountains, the rainforest. It's a lot cooler up in the mountains.
Yeah, and it was really good for us personally because it was so worth it because obviously, like I said, we haven't been here before. We didn't have a car, so we needed to make sure that the house that we were renting was accessible to the shops, etc., by foot. You know, all these different things like near the beach and stuff. And when you don't know the areas, that can be quite tricky because sometimes as well, when people put things up for rent, it's all done through like Facebook and WhatsApp. So you might see a location in one place, but it's actually 3 hours away from
because the pinpoints on the maps just aren't as accurate as what they look.
So, you know, it's good to have someone on the ground who knows the areas really well. And that's why we picked her as well, because they found us this in a perfect location, everything we asked for, you know, nothing was spared. They were just amazing.
And they even kept in our budget.
Yeah.
We didn't push us on our budget, you know?
No, they literally followed what we wanted and they made it happen and they took all that stress away.
And if that wasn't enough, after arriving here, that includes, you have a driver that collects you and takes you where you go. There's a separate fee for having the courier.
You still pay for your transfer.
Still pay for the transfer and stuff. But for Sarah Alina, they then provided somebody who is a great guy, and he came and showed us around our local area, which us being us.
If you go through someone like that, you wherever you move to, there'll be somebody who will come and visit you like a couple of days after you land or a day after to come and show you around, so you know a face. Yeah. You have somebody you can call.
Yeah. You know, us being us, we kind of like already been out, we'd already been to the town and looked around and seen so many things.
But it was really good to have because he showed us like where the little shops are, like where this place is, the stuff that we wouldn't necessarily have known was there. You know, so because everything doesn't look like how it does back in like England, you know, it's not so obvious. But then when you walk in, you're like, oh, this is really good.
And everybody on the Sarah Elena team, they're always available on WhatsApp. You can always contact them if you've got a question or query about anything, and they're there to help you.
So honestly, there's probably others out there, but for us, we used Sarah Elena. She was absolutely top notch. Can't recommend her more. So check her out.
There'll be a link at the bottom. So if you're ever deciding, I mean, someone's already decided to contact her and they've got a call with her.
Exactly. So you know, they're making it happen. Another question we got asked a lot is, what will we do for money and jobs? Obviously, because you can't physically work out here.
So we work online. So a lot of people are always like, oh, you only do this, you only do that. Now, we don't. We have a few streams of income and they're all based online.
Yeah.
And whether we're doing the Hannistons.com, which is, of course, our spicier world, whether we get brand deals from our management company in the UK, who are fantastic, whether we do a bit of affiliate marketing. We've already had offers from property managers that would like for us to go over and do house tours for them. If you want to look at our house tour on YouTube, you can see the world's your oyster out here when it comes to being online.
If you earn money online, not just to move to Costa Rica, you can go anywhere, because all you need to do is have an internet connection, you know.
It.
So, and the internet over here is really good.
It's
in
almost
most places.
triple the speed in comparison to what we had.
When you're renting or something, you just ask them, I need high-speed internet, and then you'll only find the places with high-speed internet and stuff like that.
What it is you do to earn your money online, guys, that's entirely up to you. You know, don't always aspire to do exactly what we do. We're just showing you one tiny bit of an iceberg, but the rest of it, the world's your oyster.
There's so many options.
There's so much
there.
And we can do a more detailed video about.
We will do and other ways to earn money online and stuff. But for us, we earn all our money online, so all we need is an internet connection.
However, there will be a webinar coming very soon that Jenny's actually vigorously going through. It's going to take a while.
About the job that we do.
And once that webinar is complete, just hold tight for that. But we'll give you more information when that's ready.
Yeah, we will. So, what was scary about the move? So, for me, I wasn't actually scared at all until the week before. And the week before, and I think it was because, you know, we've been together for 10 years and we'd spent 10 years building the life that we had in the UK. So even though we didn't own our house, we'd furnished a house, we had our car, we had all our furniture, we had our life, we were settled, you know. And as the last week approached and all the furniture was going and everything else, and we were saying the goodbyes, and I remember sitting there and I was like, have we made the right decision? Like, we're literally selling everything we own. Like, what if this doesn't work? Blah, blah, blah. And it was just going over in my mind. But as soon as we landed, that all went away.
Whereas I was the complete opposite from the moment we decided to come here to actually be in here. I literally was like, let's hurry up.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, how are we going to do this in 2 days? Watch, I'll do it.
I think it was just natural nerves, if
I was
you know
like,
what I mean.
I'd spent doing 12-hour shifts, doing hard graft, and for those 2 years making content, it wasn't hard graft. So when it came to actually doing hard graft to move, I put the effort in and I thought, we'll get this done. Also for me, I was honestly not scared of anything. Anxious about how my kids were going to be? Yeah, a tiny bit as a father. But if I'm honest with you, I wasn't scared, because when people say, do you find it like a holiday? Well, I just said, look, if anything, just like it was in the UK, let's just treat it like that.
Yeah.
So the more I thought, it's just a big holiday. At a minimum, we never had a honeymoon.
No, we didn't. We hadn't been on holiday, like abroad, for about 5-6 years. Last place we went to was Turkey.
Yeah.
And Marnie wasn't even born then. So, we never had a honeymoon. So for us, we were like, sod it, this is like a massive honeymoon.
Which then turned out to be probably the most beautiful place we've ever been to in our lives. And even without romanticising it, it really is that. It's the dog's bollocks.
It's very chill. Very chill. It's a very different way of life. It's very slow paced.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of why we loved it anyway. But that's what I was scared of. I wouldn't say I was scared. It was more just like nerves of...
Normal nerves, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, this is happening, you know. And it was like excitement, but nervous at the same time. And do you know what? More than anything, I think actually the thing I was scared about the most was missing our connecting flight.
Oh yeah, I mean that was delayed. Our connecting flight was delayed by nearly 40 minutes, and we only had an hour. And
we ran through Amsterdam Airport.
Which,
like,
by the way,
not believe.
Amsterdam Airport.
It's big.
How big is that airport?
It's beautiful, but we didn't get to stop and see it
we
because
were
we were running. Like, oh my god, it was So that was that. But so that was probably the scariest part of it all, to be honest with you.
So do our kids speak Spanish? Do you know what? Kids being kids, they're like sponges, so they're going to pick it up fast. But Charlie, just like me, before I left to scratch up, she used Duolingo.
Yeah, and even Marnie was using Duolingo. She didn't understand the reading, but she could match the pictures, and then she started to learn what words were the pictures and things like that. So even she was on it. Even I used it. I mean, I speak Spanish, but I'm not as confident with it as Brad is.
And I've still got a lot to learn.
Yeah, where I can understand pretty much what anyone's saying to me, but I struggle with you know, all the different tenses and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can 100% get by and have a basic conversation.
And if that
in
fails,
Spanish.
you can always use the translator.
Use Google
The Google
Translate.
Translator is fantastic.
But I wouldn't advise coming out here and not knowing
No,
any of the
no,
language.
no,
At
no.
least learn how to order your food or ask for directions.
We find a lot of the
You know.
tourists, it's just how it is, a lot of the tourists, they still do what tourists do. They won't speak Spanish, they won't attempt it, and you're like,
And do you know what? We found, I have loved it because when we speak Spanish to the locals,
oh yeah.
a lot of them answer you back in English. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, is my Spanish really bad? And then I realised, I was like, no,
Yeah.
we're both practicing. They're practicing their English.
They tell
and
us.
we're practicing our Spanish. So
it's
it
good, it's
works
really
both
good.
ways. And they do appreciate the effort. So I would 100% learn some before you come. But Duolingo,
Yeah.
we got a family plan. I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't a lot.
No.
And that was for 5 devices. And it was brilliant.
You can all
It's
see each
really
other when
good.
you're doing it and you're getting awards.
Have,
and
like, little
achievements.
competitions between each other.
Who can get the most words today? So it's good. It's good. Duolingo. all
It
the
was
way.
it was a really good one.
And if all
so-
else fails, do what Marnie does. Just put on the Alexa and say, Alexa,
What's this in Spanish?
and that's what she does. She asks and Alexa tells her.
Yeah, so she's getting it. Next one. Are you worried about keeping the kids entertained during the wet season?
Okay, so firstly, it would be wrong of us to even sort of talk about the wet season because we haven't
We
been
haven't
here.
experienced it
We
yet.
purposely came after the wet season to experience it as summer for that reason because we realised summer's summer.
Yeah.
All the people from America, France, Germany, some from the UK.
Go to the beach.
You know, they're all going to be here. So what a better time for our children to socialise.
and get to know the country, find out what they like, see if there's
Yeah.
classes that they like and stuff like that. And then hopefully, once the wet season comes, we'll have a car.
Yep.
And we will be able to take them to different things. There are,
I mean, there's
all
horse
different
riding, there's
classes and
dancing, they've
everything,
got
you know?
BJJ, which I'm going to start up with my son. They've got everything from.
Yeah.
It
You just
doesn't
gotta
matter.
look for it.
Art. They've got the.
There's like a community centre up the road
Yeah.
where they have like a whole timetable of kids groups, you know. So there's so many different things. Like Sarah Lena, actually, she does pole dancing, like
Yeah.
pole fitness and stuff. Like there is loads of stuff to do. You've just got to find it.
And again, guys, go back to the Facebook groups because all the Facebook groups in Costa Rica is where it's at.
Yeah, that's where you'll
Yeah.
find out all the information, you know.
Just put a comment and say, I've just moved here, want to meet people. You watch how many people reply to you.
Yeah. So, but I think with the rainy season, we'll
take it as it
tell you
comes.
again when we get to the rainy season, I suppose.
Yeah, like, Aria, are you a couple?
Yeah, we are
a
married.
couple,
We
yeah,
are
we're
married.
Been married for 4 years. It's actually my birthday tomorrow, everybody.
Oh yeah, it's your birthday tomorrow.
Just thought I'd throw that one in there, you know what I mean?
So we're having a pretty chill day tomorrow.
Yeah, it
and,
might be I'll probably be live on TikTok. So.
Yeah. Was your job affected by moving? No.
Our
If
job?
anything, it got better because our internet got better.
When your internet is strong, it does change your views. When your internet is strong,
If you're doing social media.
you do get more people in your lives. You do get a lot more of everything because your internet's better. In England,
In England,
Oh
where
my
we lived,
gosh.
we lived in this tiny little secluded little place. And even though it was in a built up area, this tiny little pocket, the internet was awful. We had like download speeds of like 10. And you can imagine for working online, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So when we got out here and suddenly have 80 to 100, which isn't even the fastest,
yeah.
you can imagine we were like, we can actually go online.
Unbelievable, yeah, unbelievable.
So if anything, it made it better.
Ariel, yeah, it's not really.
Anyway, so what is your favourite thing to do?
My favourite thing to do, I'm not going to lie to you, my favourite thing to do is to get all David Attenborough up in this place.
Yeah.
Me,
You like getting up early.
I not just enjoy the wildlife, like it just makes me feel a whole new way.
It was the same in England, but all we had was pigeons and foxes
Oh, I know.
in our back garden.
Yeah, and out here, in one live, for instance, you guys have seen it, some of you will be able to comment to, you know, you've seen it. We had the macaws, the bright red parrots, red, yellow and blue. We had toucans, iguanas, vultures, hummingbirds, all in one live.
Yeah.
All
and you
there,
just hear
pardon
them
me.
around you constantly, you know?
Constantly.
Like, yeah, that's
You
for me.
can you can never see the same kind of bird in an hour space. You will always see a different colour, different species, and you know the bugs. The bugs are
The
something.
bugs are big, but I think for me personally, my favourite thing has been the beach.
Oh.
I love the beach. I could sit down there for absolutely ages. You know, if you, especially, you know, even with Marnie, like it's not been like, oh God, need to bring this and bring this.
No.
And literally, I took her down there with a bucket and spade.
Got an umbrella.
She's got an umbrella. I'm chilling. You know, it's beautiful. You get yourself a nice fresh coconut cut open.
Oh, literally
Drink the
on the beach.
coconut water.
Yeah, 50p,
It's-
about 50p in it for a coconut.
It was just beautiful, you know, and seeing my kids experience all of
Yeah.
that, and for me, that's been my favourite thing is going down the beach.
Not just for an
100%.
Instagram picture or an Instagram shot.
No.
Like to know that we live
Like,
here.
if you follow us on Instagram, you
Have
see
a
our
look.
Instagram pictures.
Have a look.
They're not like aesthetic, if you know what I mean. They're just
We're just like, hey.
say cheese. You know, we're just like everyone else. We're not that way inclined.
No.
But and then the last question, and then we'll quickly go to the chat anyway. And
if you guys have got
any
anything that we
more.
haven't already spoken about, you can put your questions in and we'll answer.
What is your favourite thing that you like that you didn't expect to like?
So my favourite thing that I like that I did not expect, I love the rain.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I love the rain here.
Yeah.
I can swim in the rain. Part of our vlogs, go and look at our vlogs, guys. Episode 2, I think it is.
Yeah.
There was a complete
maybe 3.
maybe 3. There was a downpour. Look at the kids.
It's still hot.
It's hot and humid, and the rain. You just have a bit more water.
Yeah.
You're not like in England where you're like. Oh.
Yeah, you know. But it was, we've actually liked the rain. So hopefully that's
rainy season might be a little bit different.
a little bit different because it's going to be like a monsoon.
But at least we expect that the rainy season is going to be hard.
Yeah, we're under no illusion
We're not
that
sitting
it's
there
going
going,
to be different during rainy season. But I've seen plenty of people say they prefer rainy season because it's, you know, not as hot and things like that. So I'm sure there'll be loads of different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all of the questions pretty much that we had, guys. We can take it to the chat if anyone's got anything else that you want to ask that maybe we haven't covered.
Try and keep it to Costa Rica if you can as well.
Yeah, we're doing it about Costa Rica. What do you find hard or difficult out there that you didn't expect?
Okay, so for me, I'll be real. For me, what I found hard and didn't expect are the bloody size of half the bugs out here. I'm not scared like that. But I'm just, like one morning I came out. You'll see it in the next vlog. We had a snake in the living room. You know, I had a bug.
Dealing with things like that.
A June bug this big, like smashed me in the side of the head, and then so it's fine. But I just wasn't prepared.
And I think for me, it was realising how much you do need a car. You know, like you can get around without a car, but you are limited. You know, there's taxis and stuff like that. Like you can call people, but obviously that costs money each time. It's not a lot.
It's still
but
cheap.
When you need 3 or 4 a week, you know, so
when you
we've
are
been walking
normal,
a lot. And for us, with a younger child, it just would have been easier if we'd have had a car straight away. However, it's not impossible, but obviously the heat is very hot in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So, you know, and actually I totally underestimated the sun.
Wow, yeah.
You know, it's very, very powerful. You've only got to
it's all good now. We're
we're
tan
getting there,
and
but,
we're cool, you know?
You know, the other day my butt got really red because I was on the beach and I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I came home and it was bright pink. I was like,
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see the white bits, go on to Hannistons.com and fill your boots.
But yeah, so I think for me, that was that. And there was a lot of people going, oh, make sure you cover up your shoulders. And I was like, that'd be all right.
But yeah.
And then by the end of the day, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it.
But yeah, going back to earlier, what I was about to say was us, again, being this normal family on a normal budget, we've got to save for the car. So to spend loads of money on cabs, as much as it's cheap, you're not doing what you said you're going to do.
It's bleeding money, isn't it? It's not money you're ever going to get back.
So we try to eat local and we try to walk everywhere. And you can walk everywhere from here within a 20 minute radius, and everything's on your doorstep.
And that's why we, again, picked Sarah Lena, because she knew this. We said to her, we're not going to have a car. We need to be able to walk. So she made sure that we were in an area where everything is possible.
She was absolutely spot on.
Yeah, so it was really good. But I think for me, that was probably the hardest thing, is just adjusting to not having a car, because we've always had a car.
Well, people call it a sacrifice, but for us it's like, hold on a minute.
But we actually really like the walk.
Are we really sacrificing it? Like, we get to walk past beautiful rivers, and
we wouldn't see a lot of this stuff. There's pros and cons to it, you know. I think you've got to take the pros with it as well, which is if we were just getting in our car from our rental, going to the shop and coming back, we would miss all of these little bits on the way that we've found, you know, and all these little parts where we can walk down and maybe find this little soda or find this little restaurant that we wouldn't have found otherwise.
Sodas are like local restaurants where you can get a nice cheap meal, you know. But, but eating out even, it's like £10 each.
It's really not that.
For a full meal beers. So,
I was really shocked. Like, we went out for a meal. We had the works, we had a few drinks, we had a full-blown meal, and it came to like $50 for all of us. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
we paid £70 for breakfast. In with Charlie just before we left England, and I was like, that was for 3 people for a full English. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
So
but that kind of concludes all of that.
What is your long-term goal for the social media career?
We don't really have one.
It's not
We're
really
just
a social.
taking it-
Yeah.
We're just taking it each day as it comes. We're just like that as people. You know,
Yeah.
you're not promised.
We don't have a
5 years,
we've never had a
guys.
5-year plan
You
or
know,
even a 24-hour plan.
We live for the day, and hence why we just decided to pack
Yeah.
up and leave, because we live for the now.
And
to
you
be
know what? I
honest.
mean, with social media, we're going to keep providing you with funnier content. We don't just do the Hannistons.com. We don't just do the obvious TikToks. Like, we also do... Oh, sorry, we didn't steal these. We also do a lot of funny content, movie recreations. So if you guys have a little look at that, we had 50 million views for that. So moving forward, we're just going to keep trying to provide that for you. We've got a lot of funny stuff coming up that we're going to do for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just quickly scrolling through just to see if there's anything else.
And then in general, it's just about growing all of our platforms. Like, this is our first time going live on YouTube. So thank you so much to every single person that's been here.
Yeah.
I hope that we've informed you as you wanted.
Yes, I think that's pretty much.
If you could do anything different, what would you have done? Archie, done it sooner.
Yeah, that's honestly the truth.
Archie, doing it sooner, my man.
If there was any regrets, it's not doing it sooner. But
We
life is
couldn't
life,
have,
and we
yeah.
couldn't have done it sooner because we had our jobs in the UK. We
Yeah.
were working full time. I had a couple of jobs. You were running a business.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it any earlier. So we're doing it at the right time that we were supposed to be doing it, in my opinion. Everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason and all that jazz.
And considering this is our first live explaining to you Q&As about Costa Rica, I think we're going to have a lot more coming.
Yeah.
Quando van a hacer un review de la playa nudista en Manuel Antalya? When you go, do a review on the nudist beach in Manuel Antalya. Recon, someone's told me about that, and we will.
We'll be definitely visiting there.
Gracias por la
don't you worry.
información, mi amigo.
Oh, someone asked, do you think your mum would be permanently?
Oh,
I don't know.
I reckon she would.
I know my mum wants to travel, but who knows? My mum's like a little butterfly. She wants to just be out and do her own
Yeah,
thing.
you
But
said-
she's definitely coming. She's definitely coming out here for a couple of months.
You
So-
said you can't work out there. No, I said you can't
can't
work out here physically.
physically.
But online, there's nothing wrong with doing what we do online.
Yeah.
So
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that all comes in with the visas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of concludes everything we were going to talk about today, guys. And
Yeah.
thank you for coming in.
yeah, thank you.
But yeah, and you said that you're down to earth and relatable people. Thanks for doing
Oh,
it. It's
Rosie,
like a breath
thank
of
you.
fresh air. Thank you so much, Rosie.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to
And
wrap
thank
up,
you to
but
everybody.
if you want to throw some comments in or whatever now, guys.
Yeah, make sure if there's anything, even if you're watching this video after it's live, then just drop a comment on things that you might want to know about. We can make more videos about more, like, you know,
Anything we
niche
haven't
subjects.
covered. Yeah, anything we haven't
Or we
covered.
can go into detail about certain things. This has been like a very general Q&A just about all the burning questions
Yeah.
that all you guys had.
We can only give you the answers based on 2.5 weeks being here. So imagine what we'll be able to give you in months. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
sorry,
So
so
we will-
burns the TikTok.
Ah, we will find you afterwards. But
Yeah.
but thank you guys for coming in. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it was informative enough.
Yeah.
And we look forward to the next live.
Don't forget to obviously subscribe to our YouTube,
Yeah.
guys. Tell everyone else.
If you haven't watched our vlogs already, thank
Go and
you,
watch the
Rosie.
vlogs.
Thank you, guys. It really helps us when you like, when you comment, when you share out our videos.
Yeah.
It really helps us out. It's all free to
Even
do.
if you want to watch our videos while you're cleaning, please go ahead and do it.
Exactly. So yeah, but on that note, guys, we're going to head out. And we hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your evening. Yes, Archie, I'll quickly cover it. So here, for the digital nomad visa, it's 3,000 for a single person or 4,000 for a family. But
That's dollars, that's dollars.
That's dollars, but we did mention it, so just
Yeah.
what you can
Just
watch
rewatch the video
back
after this and you'll be able to see it. And we'll tag Sarah Lena in the bottom.
We'll tag
so if
her.
you guys want to get in contact with her, please do.
Yeah, but anyway, have a lovely evening, guys, if you're watching from England, which I think most of you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we shall speak to you soon.
Good night.
See you later,
See
everyone.
you guys later. Pura vida.
Bye.